Hello, everybody, again, and so welcome to lesson 6. Thank you for tuning in again. Thank you for tuning in. So we looked at current electricity for lesson 5, the previous lesson, and then we're going to look at the components of an electrical circuit. Okay. So for lesson 6, okay, we're going to look at the components of circuit. Components of a circuit. This is what we're going to look at. The electrical components. Yeah. So, okay, let us So we're saying what? We're saying a complete circuit. So, okay, let's not say complete circuit. So a circuit, let's just define a circuit here. So a circuit is a complete pathway. It's a complete pathway for an electric current. For an electric current. It goes from one terminal of a cell So it goes from one terminal of a cell along a conducting material. Along a conducting material along conducting material through a device and back to the other terminal cell and back to the other terminal of a cell. So it goes from positive to, so the current goes from positive, to be more specific here, is what? Positive to negative terminal of a cell. So it's these two terminals. It goes from a positive terminal to the negative same terminal of a cell or a battery, which is the power source. which is the source of potential difference. Okay? So another important thing here, say what? So a complete circuit is made of different components. So it's the component that we want to talk about here. Okay, it's made of different components with different symbols. Different symbol. So so let's talk about this component. Okay, of second. So of a circuit. So today I want to show you. So I will tabulate them here. I will make a table here with 2 columns. So I can show you different components and their symbol. Okay. So on the left here, I will write down the name of the component, and then on the right, I will show you the symbol of that component in an electric circuit. So we're going to talk about 7 components today. So we start with a cell. So a cell, 2 terminal, a positive and a negative terminal. So the negative terminal is the smaller bar and the positive terminal is the bigger bar. Okay. So this is the symbol of a cell, and then torch bulb. So that we use a torch bulb to illuminate object. So there's a cross like this. This is the symbol of a bulb. So I can say torch bulb. I can just say bulb. And then we have an open switch. So that's an open switch. Okay. And then we have a closed switch. A closed switch. So there's no opening here. There's no opening in a closed switch. So the 2 parts join together. You remember what we said? We said there shouldn't be openings. We said that the circuit should be closed for the components to work. Right? So the electric current can move anywhere. Then the wires, electric wire. Electric wire, we just use a line. Right? And then we have a what? A resistor. So we can use, so for a resistor, we can use one of the two symbols. Okay. We can use this, so this thing over here that looks like a zigzag, or so it can be one of the two. So do not be confused. Okay. So both of these symbols here, they represent a resistor. Okay. Resistor. So it could be this or it could be that. Okay. And then the last, that we're going to talk about 7 components here. It's a different type of resistor. We call it a variable resistor. So this is it's almost the same as the one that we had previously, okay? Except for one thing. So you still have the zigzag looking thing, or we can have the rectangular thing like previously. So the difference here, what is the difference? The difference here is there is an arrow across. So an arrow could be up or it could be downwards. Doesn't matter. Okay. So that's the difference. It's almost the same as the resistor, but it is variable. Variable meaning what? The resistance is changing. Okay. So the resistance is not the same. The resistance is constantly changing. So it's not the same. It can be adjusted in this case. Okay. So the other thing that we should notice here. So I just spoke about, okay, let me add the 8th one. Okay. It looks similar to a cell. Okay. It looks similar to a cell, but it is a battery. A battery is just multiple cells. So the symbol is like this. It's multiple cells connected together, like that. That's what a battery would look like. So, a battery and a cell, okay, what do they do on an electric circuit? So a battery or a cell, so what do they do, these things? They function, they are what? They are a source of energy. They are a source of energy. So that is, they supply energy to the circuit. supply energy to the circuit. And allow for the functioning of other components, for the functioning of other components. So without the source of power, there's no function of other components here. So this is the function of what? And then we have the wires. So the symbol here is just a line. Okay. What do? They connect. So they serve to connect. They serve to connect all the components. They serve to connect all the components of a circuit together. And they also allow for the passage of an electric current together. And they also allow for the passage of an electric current, of an electric current. Then we have resistors. So resistors allow us to make use of electrical energy for practical purposes, for practical day-to-day purposes. Day-to-day purposes. So what happens here is that what? Resistors convert electrical energy into other forms of energy, into other forms of energy, other forms of energy. And the light bulb here is a special kind of resistor. Okay. the torch bulb. It's a special kind of resistor that emits light and helps to illuminate objects in areas of reduced visibility. Okay. So yeah, I think let's leave it here for lesson 6. I will go into details in lesson 7, okay, about the components of a circuit. Okay. So let's leave it here for lesson 6. I hope you tune in for lesson 7, okay. Bye bye for now and take care and stay focused.